Welcome, witches, wizards, and muggles alike, to another enchanting episode of Magical Tales from the Slytherin Common Room, bringing your favorite Harry Potter fanfiction to audio format. So sit back, relax, and lock your headphones and let the magic begin.
Two Weddings and a Manhunt by Deydralinne, Chapter 5. August 3rd, 2003. To the blissful relief of the others, Astoria had immediately headed to the ministry upon receiving Hermione's owl, filed the necessary paperwork, flowed to the embassy here in Las Vegas, paid the fine for the extra unauthorized person, Hermione, scheduled the earliest available time slot to return Flo to the ministry in England, which, not so blissfully, wasn't until the morning of Blaise and Astoria's wedding. That had earned Theo a rather aggressive smack around the head from both Blaise and Draco. She had also unfortunately insisted on watching the wedding between Draco and Hermione after learning of the tape's existence. She had remained silent and, unlike her husband to be, said nothing on the matter other than the deep sigh that escaped her at its conclusion. Draco internalized his relief that even in her inebriated state, Hermione had the forward thinking to find an owl. He would hate to think how they would begin to seek help otherwise, or that without Astoria, the possibility had been high that they wouldn't have made it to the wedding. However, despite the relief he felt knowing that they had a way home, it meant they would be stuck here for another 2 nights. We should probably go see the front desk. Now that we have a solution and all know where we need to be and when, maybe also check if they have any extra rooms, Hermione suggested, looking around at the mess the extra transfigured beds had created. She had the point, and Draco would be glad to put as much distance between her and himself as possible. The concierge, however, wasn't as helpful. I'm sorry, Miss Malfoy, we have no extra rooms available. Draco suppressed a shudder at his address of her. Hermione sighed in disappointment. The rooms you secured for the week were the last ones we had. Week? Hermione frowned. Yes, ma'am. You paid the charge for all suites until Friday, the man responded. Hermione visibly relaxed a little. I already paid? The man frowned at her. Yes, ma'am. Hermione looked back at their little group before turning back to the man behind the counter. I didn't say anything else, did I? The man looked between them all. His eyes softened towards Hermione, a playful glint appearing at the realization. Yes, ma'am. You asked me to secure the winnings of one of your companions in the hotel safe. He paused to look at his records. One Mr. Peccary Goyle? Peccary? Gregory repeated. Hermione offered him an apologetic shrug. The man continued with an amused smile. Your husband claimed that Mr. Peccary had been rather inescapably trapped into spending the evening with some estranged family members? A small snort of amusement forced its way past Draco's lips. Hermione appeared to be struggling to refrain from laughing herself. Gregory muttered something about Draco being an asshole, while Blaise and Theo both erupted into fits of laughter. Astoria frowned at them, clearly confused. Being the professional that he was, the receptionist continued undeterred, and that he would be by when he rejoined your group to collect his winnings. His winnings? Hermione parroted. Yes, ma'am. It was mentioned that he had been rather successful on the blackjack tables at the casino down the street. The amount in the safe is. He paused to check his notes. $683,110. This is what remained after securing 3 suites and providing very generous tips for the staff. He offered a warm smile. 3 suites? Draco asked. Yes, Mr. Malfoy. Suite 217, Suite 223, and the honeymoon suite in preparation for the arrival of one Miss Astoria Greengrass and her new husband, Mr. Greengrass. The man slid a key towards them with what Draco could only assume were the keys to said honeymoon suite. Blaise muttered something under his breath, but Draco missed it. Well, I guess that explains the cash in my purse, Hermione mumbled. I see, Astoria smiled sweetly. Was there anything else mentioned? The man, who Draco could now see was wearing a tag pinned to his coat jacket with the name of Todd, smiled in return. No, ma'am. Thank you, Todd. That has been most helpful. Hermione smiled, graciously accepting the key from him. They made it inside the elevator once more before Theo burst into laughter again, taking Blaise with him. Hermione and Draco tried to refrain, but quickly they too were in fits of laughter at Theo's single struggled word of family. Even Gregory began to chuckle in amusement. Astoria looked at them all, clearly confused. Would someone like to fill me in? Hermione wiped a tear from her eye as she tried to steady her breathing. Well, when we woke up, we had, in Theo's words, misplaced Blaze and Greg. When we eventually found Greg, he had been transfigured into an ape at the zoo and was trapped in the enclosure. Astoria shook her head in amusement. I see. It was quick work to tidy the hotel room and group each person's belongings as none of them had much. Right, well, I suppose we should work out who's staying where, Blaze said after it was done. Miss Malfoy and I will be staying in the honeymoon suite, Astoria emphasized the name Malfoy. Her tone left little room for argument. What you four idiots decide between yourselves, I couldn't care less about. Blaze looked like he was the only one who would dare argue in any case, but didn't. Oh, you don't want to stay with Blaze? Hermione asked. Astoria stared at her for a few moments. Are you telling me you would like to continue staying with literally any of these guys? Hermione quickly stood upright, grabbing her bag, and was halfway to the door. Nope, you're right. Astoria narrowed her eyes at them. We will meet up for lunch in an hour. Be waiting in the foyer, and I swear I will skin you alive if a single one of you is late or missing. She followed Hermione out the door, leaving them in silence once more. Your wives are scary as hell, Gregory stated, staring at the door. Draco groaned. Please don't, he mumbled. 52 minutes later, just as they were getting ready to head down to the foyer to avoid the wrath of Astoria Greengrass, a sharp tapping on the window pulled their attention to a large owl. Draco's stomach dropped. He recognized the owl immediately as his mother's. What's more, he recognized the red envelope attached to its leg as a howler. Oh no. Blaze quickly silenced the room and let the bird in before he could draw too much attention. Gregory transfigured a lamp into a bird perch, which the poor thing collapsed onto. Draco took a deep breath before reaching for the envelope. It immediately burst with the sound of his mother's voice screaming at him. Draco Lucius Malfoy, would you care to explain why the hell the family tree is telling me that my one and only child has eloped? To one Hermione Granger, no less. No note, no letter, no invitation, no warning of any kind that you two were even involved. I thought you were to be staying at the chateau, but it turns out I was mistaken about that as well. Where the hell are you? Eloped? My son. The press are going to have a field day when they catch wind of this. Are you trying to kill me? I demand that you and your new bride come see me as soon as possible. Do I make myself clear, Draco? Eloped? Draco swallowed as the envelope tore itself up and fell into pieces on the floor. Well, I suppose that could have gone worse. Who knows, maybe she will have calmed down by the time we get back, Theo shrugged. If looks could kill, Theo would be dead from the daggers Draco glared his way. I don't think it will matter if Astoria skins us alive for being late, Gregor reminded. I think I'd prefer that, Draco mumbled as they made their way downstairs. Theo seemed far too eager as he linked arms with Hermione upon entering the foyer. Sorry, we're late. We received a very loud, red congratulations from your mother-in-law about your marriage. Hermione frowned. How does she even know? Malfoy family tree, Blaise sighed. Hermione blanched. Oh my god, no. Harry! Hermione choked out, panic settling in across her face. What? Theo cocked his head to the side. Astoria steered her towards an armchair in the lobby just before Hermione collapsed. She looked at Draco in horror, her fingers lingering near her mouth. Harry lives at Grimmauld Place. It used to belong to Sirius Black. You and your parents were on the family tree. Oh my god, it would have changed there too.